go.
All set.
Well, I call the order to the October 6, 2020 meeting of the City of West Sacramento City Parks Recreation Intergenerational Services Commission. Pursuant to the Governor's Executive Order N 2920, members of the West Sacramento Parks Recreation Intergenerational Services Commission and staff will participate this meeting via teleconference to reduce the spread of COVID-19. Members of the public are asked to watch the meeting via telecast on Wave Cable Channel 20 and to have submitted comments in writing by 5 o'clock today. Now, Commission Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Thank you. Chair Sandoval?
Here.
Vice Chair Reed?
Here.
Commissioner Ahmad?
Here.
Commissioner Eckler? Commissioner Hargrove? Commissioner Jans?
Here.
Commissioner Price?
I'm here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Great, that brings us to item 1A, presentations by the public on matters not on the agenda. Are there any?
We have not received any public comments.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go on now to 1B, Commissioner Communications. Would anybody like to communicate any Commissioner Communications? Okay.
I'll say something.
Please go ahead.
So if you're not aware, our own Danny Sandoval has a mural up in Sacramento. And I think that's pretty awesome. And it's very parks related. So if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you go take a look because it looks really fantastic. And he put a picture up of himself next to it. It's perfect. So congratulations on that, Danny. I think that's fantastic. And I just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Very unexpected, by the way. Not every day somebody has a mural on a big, huge wall like that. Thank you very much. Any other communications, commissioners? Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to the presentation update on virtual recreation programs offered during COVID-19 by Connie Lee. Connie, when you're ready, you have the floor.
Good evening, commissioners. Thank you for allowing me to share with you tonight. As you know, the last 6 months have been very different and unprecedented times for us. And as a community, we've had to do all we could to slow the spread of COVID-19. And one of the big emphases that we've had as a Parks and Recreation Department has been on our virtual programming. And I want to tell you a little bit about those programs. One of the very first things that we did when all of this happened was to create a virtual recreation West Sac Fund. And this is a resource where people can go and get information on everything from, COVID-19 safety and health, ideas for parents, how to talk to their kids about coronavirus, information from the CDC. Also, we have, areas where they can work on staying active with links to our daily group exercise classes and activities they can participate in. We also have virtual field trips. So here you see a national park ranger. You can go to this site and you can visit our national parks. You can tour museums around the world. We have learning at home resources for families and a plethora of active aging program links and activities. Youth and teen programs were particularly challenging in March when we no longer offer our after school programs. And here you can see some of our youth and teen staff, and they got very creative with sharing virtual activities with their youth that they miss so much. And they did everything from disguised learning, around math, to crafts they could make at home with things you might have in your kitchen, musical activities. So here you see a guitar craft. We would just share ideas for celebrating the seasons and the holidays. We did chalk art in the community. Here you can see some chalk art that's out on sidewalks in our community, featuring our own Mooey Armstrong. And for those who don't know Mooey is a cow from city of West Sacramento, and he is the official West Sacramento Parks and Recreation mascot. And he's a very cool cow who's out and about in our community all the time. We have coloring pages. Families can download and color those. And Mooey is so cool that he got a call from Draw with Stacy. And I don't know how many know what Draw with Stacy is, but there's a wonderful lady in our community who during the last 6 months has been having virtual drawing classes. And thousands of people have joined her, and they draw and do these activities safely in their homes. And Stacy gave Mooey a call.
Hey Mooey, it's Stacy from Draw with Stacy. I was wondering if I could draw you next week with my group.
Join us on Draw with Stacy on Facebook Thursday at 3 to draw our favorite cow.
And I have to say that Mooey followed up, and every single child who shared their drawing of Mooey on Draw with Stacy, Mooey commented and let them know what great artwork they had done, interacted with them, and actually printed a few of them, and Mooey put them up on Mooey's refrigerator. So there was some great positive energy with the youth, knowing that Mooey was very impressed with their drawing skills. Our Spark Adaptive Leisure program has been extremely busy. They have offered over 75 activities, classes, and trips, virtual trips for their participants. So they do everything from trivia nights to trips that are virtual. They do drawing classes, painting classes. In the bottom right corner, you can actually see one of our staff's kitchen, and the Spark participants they voted on what recipe they thought would be cool. And the staff person had to cook the recipe for them, and they all are doing cooking classes. And in the middle there, you can see lead rec staff, Eric Rommel. And Eric is a teacher in our community. He works our Spark program, and he also happens to be a DJ. So he uses his DJ skills to offer virtual dance nights. These guys miss getting together, and going to dance is one of their favorite things to do. And so Eric will take their song suggestions, and we'll have a night where they all just groove to music and hang out together and just have a really positive, fun time. We were also still able to hold our Black Box Theater internship this summer. It looked very different, and I'm going to let the intern tell you a little bit about it.
Hi, my name is Imani Cowart, and I'm the intern here at the Black Box Theater in West Sacramento. My internship started focusing on the Young Actors Workshop, where I was helping develop lesson plans and activities for a workshop dedicated to kids to learn about different types of theater and what to do. Since then, things have changed just a little bit, and I am now in the theater, but not to fret, I am still learning plenty of things, such as how to use a lighting board, different types of lights, how to do different audio setups, and I'm still learning plenty of things that I probably wouldn't have if I never signed up for the internship at all. I'm Imani Cowart, and the home run internship has been an amazing experience.
And speaking of our Black Box Theater. That was a real different thing because normally the Black Box Theater is a venue where we can hold, 100 people to come in and crowd in the seats and watch a show or a performance. And certainly during this last 6 months, we have not been able to do that. But there were requests for some distance trainings for the police department. So here you see schematics where we took the risers out to create a lot more space so that we could create socially distanced spaces for trainings. And also there's been the opportunity to use the Black Box as a socially distanced television studio. And so there has been virtual fundraisers, filmings for things in our region. And, just kind of trying to make a positive out of, this hard time that we can't gather people for shows, but we can still offer things virtually that they can be watching from home. Gallery 1075 is our theater, our gallery theater, art theater. And we are having our first virtual gallery shows coming in November. It will be our Kids Zone Youth in our after school program, and this will be their 10th year of having an art show there. And the theme is going to be, what's your Toy Story? And they will be sharing their toy stories. Also coming in December, we will have local West Sacramento artist Carol Hawkins, and she is also a member of the West Sac Art Guild, and she will have a virtual show in Gallery 1075. We also took the opportunity to do some updating during the closure. Things were certainly slower at the rec center. We couldn't have people inside, so we started doing renovations and sprucing things up. And we had a mural that had been in the group exercise room for 10 years. For those of you who've been in our community a while, you may have known Scott Stanley. He was our art supervisor, and he had painted a mural 10 years ago. We reached out to our Gallery 1075 art curator and sort of our department graphic art design person, Kira Kaminsky. And so she did a whole new mural inside the group exercise room. And it sort of depicts nature and growth and is a depiction of what she sees that the rec center does for people in our community. Active aging programs have been extremely busy. They've been doing sunshine activity packets that they mail home to the seniors. And they have everything from like brain teasers to keep the brains going and active, and fun trivia, nostalgic things. They share staff's favorite recipes, trivia about the staff to get to know the staff a little more. They also have done hundreds and hundreds of what we call sunshine calls. And this is good old fashioned picking up the phone and calling the seniors and saying, we miss you and how are you? And it's just been a really positive thing. And we also have our seniors though, who like to text. They like to message. And so we've been doing that as well. And then we have virtual senior programs, and the seniors can go on and we mail home bingo cards, and we get on a Zoom and we play bingo together. They do knit and crochet together. They do card making together. One of the really popular recent programs has been Master Gardener presentations, and just such a positive thing. You know, people are home working on their gardens, learning to grow things, eating healthy food, but also enjoying each other's company here. And you can really see that. We have had virtual dance for all ages. On the left here, you can see our 3-year-olds in our Tippy Toe Ballet taking a virtual ballet class, all the way up to our adults and our seniors participating in Zumba Gold. Another cool event that happened end of June, early July was the wonderful West Sac Playgroup in our community did a fundraiser to benefit Parks and Recreation, and it was a virtual 5K walk run. But the neat thing about it is to make it a very safe event for the community. It wasn't held on one day at one time in one location. It was over a period of several days. You could walk Recreation Center did a really neat pass the ball sort of outreach program. And this was like a just kind of something to keep people's minds on staying positive and keep being moving and passing the ball and sort of the positivity in our community. And basically they started the ball rolling out into our community, and they had the first video, they had over 70 people out in the community who submitted their own videos back. And so you'll see some of that where the ball is continuing to be passed throughout our community. And it was so popular that we did a second video. And I'm just gonna encourage you to keep your eye on the ball, and the ball does change. It's just a really neat reminder of how positive our community is here in West Sacramento.
Hey everyone, this is Chris from the West Sac Recreation Center. All of us from the athletics department, this is seeing everyone playing in our leagues. We hope you and your families are healthy and safe during these times. We'll be back playing our favorite sports in no time. But until then, hey, let's stay active, keep the ball moving.
All around the world. To the beach, y'all. Let's go. All around the world. Y'all know this is so gas. To the beach, y'all. Yeah.
Now basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way they dribble up and down the court. Come on.
Come on, it's time to get high. Say who? Come on, all the fellas say who? Come on, one time for the ladies say who? Now, all the fellas say who? It's hard. Come on and ride, baby, ride. Come on, do it right, baby, right. Yeah, you wanna hoop, so shoot, baby, shoot. It's time to hoop, so shoot, baby, shoot, baby. Come on, jam. Come on and slam. You want to jam. Slam, bam, thank you, ma'am. Get on the floor and jam. UCD on the microphone. Girl, you got me in the zone. Come on, and start the game. Break it down, tell me your name. I'm the coach, let's dance off like from coast to coast. Just slide, from left to right, just slide. Yourself a lot, UCD, drop the bass. 3.1, only your face, jam on it. Let's have some fun. 101, you run the show and I run the show. So come on, baby, just jam for me.
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got a real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Space, get your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam. Alright. Wave your hands in the air if you feel fine. We're gonna take it into overtime. Welcome to the Space Jam. Get your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam. Alright.
Hey ladies, y'all ready to stop? And y'all wanna know why? 'Cause it's the Slam Jam, fellas. Y'all ready to stop?
Hey, thank you everybody for submitting your videos. They were amazing. From all of us here at the Recreation Center and West Sac Sports, we hope everybody remains healthy and safe, and we hope to see you back here soon. Remember, until then, stay active and keep the ball moving.
Another really neat campaign that we did was just sort of this idea of spreading kindness during this challenging time. We all know, it's been a really different time and sort of stressful for a lot of us. We're having to wear masks, we're having to learn new protocols. And this campaign was one that was about how to reach into your kindness bucket and to, maybe learn how to sort of try to smile from behind a mask and reach out to others. We did a second video, and it was about reaching into your kindness bucket and sharing that kindness with yourself and with your family, and just how important it is to take care of your own health and well-being. And these were really popular videos with over 5,500 views each. So just again, speaks to the culture of our community. Virtual group exercises have been so busy. People have been able to jump on and take free virtual group exercise classes, everything from strength training, dance and fitness, meditation, stretch classes. We've had 2 virtual fitness challenges. And when this first hit, our own director, Tracy Michael, is a yoga instructor. And so she went on right away and taught a yoga lesson, a yoga class, and shared it. And I thought it was a cool thing to have our own Parks and Rec director leading by example and setting that tone. We also, it was really hard not to be able to gather our children together for our youth sports programs. And so we participated in the Junior Giants virtual dugout, which has a lot of great resources and activities for youth to participate in. And we had over 200 youth participate in our virtual dugout here in West Sacramento. And this is Trophy Day. And as you can see, this young man is picking up his trophy, very safely distanced. But look at that smile behind that mask and how happy he is to be participating and a Junior Giant dugout participant. During July, we also celebrated National Parks and Recreation Month. This was an opportunity for our very talented employees in the department to share what they love about their job and working in our community. We also participated in what's called Agents of Discovery for July's Parks and Recreation Month. So for the entire month of July, it's kind of a virtual badge program where you go on missions. And we had 5 locations in West Sacramento: the Barge Canal Trail, the Riverwalk Park Trail, the Bright Park, Memorial Park, and Bridgeway Lakes Park. And our agent was Agent Chipper over here, because we got a lot of chipmunks in West Sac. And you basically, children and their families could go out to these locations and think Pokemon Go. They could go out and participate with Chipper and earn badges and learn things about nature, learn things about West Sacramento. On our first day in the program, we had 6 users using it. On the 31st day of the program, we had 274. So we had a really nice turnout. And we participated with some other cities in California. And we were in the top portion of cities, and especially for our size. We actually had more participation than Sacramento and Sacramento County here in our little West Sac. So it was a really great campaign. We also celebrated July's Parks and Recreation Month with our wonderful Memorial Park renovation. And here you can see our director being handled the proclamation from our mayor that July is Parks and Recreation Month. And we just know how important that Memorial Park is and this renovation is, and Little League and baseball. And this is a big part of our community. So that was a really neat way to celebrate July as Parks and Recreation Month. And this is getting into more recent times. These were some really exciting things for us. This was near the end of July, and these are our Youth in the Learning Ladder program. And we were excited to get to have them back and to have the Learning Ladder open. And they helped end our July month. And they are Parks and Recreation as well. They're our future. And so this is them. They're proudly proclaiming that they are Parks and Recreation. And then next to that is our after school program. Here, just last month, we were able to start our after school programs again. Things look very, very different as the world does right now. The big emphasis of our after school program learning is distance learning right now. It is the focus of the program, so here we've got students, they've got their headphones on, they're on their devices, they're learning distance learning, and that's what their leaders are supporting. But we're just excited to even be back in person together. And as we know, mid-August, this exciting thing happened. The Recreation Center reopened.
We're open!
We're back. The Recreation Center is reopening and we're ready. Now is your time to improve your lap swim, tennis singles game, or pickleball. For guidelines and more information, visit westsacfun.org. See you soon.
And we've actually been able to add a big tent out there as well now. So we're actually doing group exercise classes outdoors. So that's an exciting addition. And then we're very excited. Each year at the Rec Center, they do a safe trick-or-treat event at the Rec Center for youth in our community. And we are able this year, we're gonna have what is called West Sacramento Safe Trick-or-Treat Street. And participants will stay in their cars, but they will be able to basically drive a route through River City High School and the Rec Center campus there. And they will be treated to fun Halloween scenes from the various city of West Sacramento departments, the fire department, public works, our department, and some other special guests, some of our other community groups. And they will safely and distanced receive some treats. And at westsacfun.org, they can sign up for that. We're basically taking signups in increments of time to keep it safely distanced. And maybe I failed to say our police department's also participating because they're going to really help us keep it safely distanced. So we're super excited about that. That is Saturday, October 31st on Halloween. Perfect. It will be in the afternoon. And again, westsacfun.org is how to sign up and get a reservation. And with that, I just want to say thank you for listening to all of the great things that our staff have been working on during these challenging times. And if I can, I'm just going to try to enlarge some things on my screen here. These are our Zumba Gold participants. They were dropped off or mailed shirts. They regularly take their Zumba Gold dance exercise at home. Look at those smiling faces, the thumbs up. Life is good. Staying healthy, yes, at home, but still very much together. And just a wonderful thing to see. Here we have some of our, talented crafting type people doing knit and crochet, sharing their projects, and definitely together at this time. Just here's some of our part-time parks crew, helping to keep our parks beautiful for people that are out taking walks. And I guess the big thing I want to emphasize is just the happy faces and the smiles. So while this has been a challenging time, we have really enjoyed working with our community to get creative with these virtual classes. And with that, thank you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. If you have any questions, you can ask me and I will try to answer. And I just want to thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you so much, Connie. What a great presentation, and just seeing all of the special virtual recreational programs that have been offered during these COVID times has been great for not just, for everybody in the community. So thank you so much. Any commissioners? Arush?
Thank you. And thank you, Connie. I want to emphasize also, like Danny said, for sharing all the programs with us. And it's just nice to know what all our options are and everything that you all are doing. So thank you. I had one kind of a random question that I've never got to ask. Why is the West Sacramento mascot a cow? Like, why is it Mooey? Is there a history behind behind that?
We did a campaign, a contest years ago. Like, what should our mascot be? What should it look like? It used to be Jack Rec way back in the day, Jack Recreation. I'm going to tell you why. I've been with the department for a long time. We had a really old Easter Bunny costume. So you took the Easter Bunny, you put some athletic gear on him, and you called him Jack Rec. Well, he finally needed to be replaced. So we had sort of a contest. And the cow, if you take the words City of West Sacramento, it spells out cows. And so this idea came up for us to have this really active, cool cow. And then his name needed to get picked. And somebody had the great idea of Mooey Armstrong, Mooyow. And that's his name. So he's Mooey Armstrong. And that's the history of Mooey Armstrong.
Okay, Suzanne.
Thank you. Connie, it's a fabulous job that you've done, and the presentation is excellent as well. I'm wondering about, because so much has to be virtual and online, and especially with our seniors, beyond the presence on the website and the Parks and Recreation website, how are you communicating with other folks who would benefit from participation in the programs?
That's where I was talking about the sunshine activities that we're mailing home. So we're mailing home hundreds of those where, they're pretty thick packets, and we try to give them a lot of activities to do. We're also doing sunshine calls. So that's where I have several staff. I've actually done some sunshine calls, and there's been hundreds of the calls. And so we pick up the phone and try to talk to the seniors, see what's going on with them. Of course, we also get questions for resources. So there's been a lot of getting people assistance with things they might, be helpful to them, whether they're bus vouchers, food resources. We get a lot of requests at the community center. Seniors need assistance with things like wheelchairs and walkers. And so we're still doing a lot of that resource and referral, just doing it, over the phone and a little more distance. But believe me, we stop at people's houses and we drop things at their door after we sanitize them or whatever. We try to make those connections. And we're actually, we're hoping to spread our sunshine activities and spread more sunshine by also maybe starting to do some more surprise door drop visits. So, we call the seniors and we're talking to them. Well, why not? We've all got cell phones. We figure out their home and which ones are home. And we could, National Donut Day, we could probably pretty safely package up a donut and a nice note and leave it at their door and say, oh, by the way, this was a great call. Go check your door. We left you something for National Donut Day or something fun like that. So that's the idea of our sunshine, is just trying to share that positivity until we can bring our seniors, more gathered together to participate in person in the programs. And of course, we're looking forward to that time as well, but heavy influence on our sunshine outreach. So
in the course of these communications, are you communicating with folks that haven't been involved in the recreation center or the community center before, or who are new to the community and not aware of the amenities that we have to offer?
With our website, we're able to share to, anyone. I've got to say that our sunshine calls are often based on, the fact that they were the hundreds of seniors that have participated and are on our mailing list, have been to the community center. That's, those have been the ones that we reach out to. But, anyone new who calls the department or reaches out to any of the city departments, they're able to connect them to our services, get us their information, and we call back and make those connections.
Thank you. I think one of the things that I've used before is sort of a bring a friend or tell a friend kind of word of mouth communication about the services and all the programs that are being offered, and perhaps something, along those lines would also work in terms of, because I think we're going to be at this for a while, and especially that particular age group. And it may be something that you could build membership through the community center and the recreation programs if there's a bit more emphasis on word of mouth and bringing more people into the fold, because the programs are terrific, and I really appreciate all the creativity and imagination that the staff have applied to making the best programs that we can available throughout our community. Thanks.
Thank you. Suggestion, Commissioner Reed. Thank you, Commission.
Commissioner Hargrove.
I just wanted to quickly say how awesome it's been to watch the rec center staff put together the programs that they've been putting together through all of this. When this all started, we thought it was a 2-week shutdown. And from the beginning, they started doing virtual online classes. They've been doing things to try and keep folks engaged. And it's really made me proud. It seems odd that the rec center's only been around for just over a decade. Feels like it's been part of our community forever. And I know many of the staff at Parks and Rec have been around for a long time and really appreciate that. My daughter, every time we drive past the rec center, she points to it and says, "I love you." And just because she's 17 years old, but she just loves the rec center so much. So I just wanted to thank you for everything you do, all the positive comments I get from my friends and community members, and everything that you've tried to do during this quarantine to keep our minds and bodies active. Thank you.
Commissioner Ahmad.
Connie, I had a question about registering for the Halloween event. I just went on westsacfund.org and I'm having a little trouble navigating the website. So I just wanted to find out kind of where I would go to register that so I can refer other parents to do that too.
We haven't opened it up yet. This is coming. So be watching in the next few days, because literally we just got approval from the county to do this. We have
my mistake. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries, but it will be at westsacfund.org. We had to write up a proposal, develop a plan. We just got thumbs up. Literally, we're out there in this afternoon sun today, walking the path with the other departments, getting this thing planned out and figured out. So it will roll out very shortly. So be paying attention to West Sac Fund and social media. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, because you'll also see that information there. So
got it. Parents have been so anxious all over social media, and so that I worry about people kind of being cavalier and doing whatever. So I'm like, the sooner I can get them out this information, the better, probably for planning purposes. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Commissioner Johns.
Hey, thank you. I wanted to, first of all, go off of Commissioner Hargrove's praise for the Parks and Rec Department. I know that I'm sure a lot of cities say, oh, how great our Parks Department is, but I really can't say enough about the job that I see, especially being immersed now in this position, the fantastic job that you all are doing. And I think being a part of this, it shows me so much more that I didn't even know about, just because it's not on my radar. I know that my mother participates in a lot of some stuff that I wouldn't normally be a part of, and she's always going on and raving about how great the activities are. And it's just, I know you have a lot on your plate, so it's really fantastic. And I mean that sincerely, to see everything that you all have put together. Even the presentation was fantastic. To not even lower the bar there. So just more praise to all of you for what you're doing, and not just for the community, but even behind the scenes to this before the grant applications. I mean, you're on top of all of those things, bringing in as much money as you can to the city for future projects and existing projects and upgrades. It's like nonstop. So please pat all of yourselves on the back. I can't say enough about the job that you're doing. I did have a couple of questions. Did I see a West Sac home run intern in the beginning there? And was that part of the high the home run program, or is that two different things there, or did that all tie in from the home run program into that internship for the audio video Black Box Theater?
That was a part of, that was a West Sac home run intern. Each year, the community center tries to host an intern or two. In some years, we have also the City of West Sacramento Summer Steps interns. There's kind of two programs for internships. The Summer Steps internships did not happen this summer, but the home run internships did happen. And we had a wonderful, as you could see, that young lady was an exceptional intern, and it was a great experience. And that is a wonderful program in our community.
That's fantastic. That was really great to see that all tie in together. So thank you for sharing that. The couple other just things, I also was looking up with Commissioner Ahmad some of the website stuff of some of these programs that came up during the presentation, and I was having a little difficulty as well locating, for example, the online exercise classes, some of the other events. The only thing I could really find was just kind of the calendar. Am I looking in the right place? Where can we find all of these things that were kind of came up during the presentation? Are they in one location, or maybe you could help me navigate that?
If you're looking for the exercise classes, you're going to look under the rec center, and they're going to have the group exercise classes there, and you join, there's a West Sac wellness group that you're able to join us.
Okay, so it would be, so for people listening, or if I wanted to share some of this with the community, you would go to the rec center's website, not the parks website or the West Sac Fund.
When you get to West Sac Fund, that's our whole department. And then you're going to go to the rec center, and then you're going to go to our rec center page. And then on Facebook, you can follow us at West Sac Fund, and you can become a member of the West Sac Rec Center's wellness group. Paul, do you have anything to add to that, to the rec center classes?
Yeah, so Paul Reyes here. So basically, yeah, you can get on the rec center page, and on the left side, there's a box that says online registration. And once you click on the online registration, you have to have an account. You put your username and account. And once you have that, then you can go, once you go to the next step, it will list all the classes that are offered, from cardio classes, lap swim, that type of thing. And then you would choose your time slot during whatever day or whatever time that you want, up to 2 weeks, up to 10 days.
Okay, and sorry to get wrapped around the axle on this, but it's westsacfund.org?
Correct.
Okay, because it takes me back to cityofwestsacramento.org. And then I found the rec center, but on the left-hand side, it's kind of like a drop-down. It says outdoor groups schedule, take a tour, past prices, things like that.
Commissioner Johns, Suzanne, Commissioner Reed, she put in a chat a link to the virtual recreation there, if you see it in the chat. So it's cityofwestsacramento.org/government/parks-recreation/virtual-recreation.
Okay, so it is cityofwestsacramento.org. Okay. All right, that was my confusion. Thank you for that, Commissioner Reed. I didn't mean to get too bogged down on that. Appreciate it. And then lastly,
the westsacfund.org redirects you to the Parks Department part of the city's website, but it may have dumped you somewhere where you weren't familiar where you were. I mean, it's
okay. Yeah, that's the experience I was having. It was
maybe that's, and thank you for that, because I think that's where we can go back and talk to our IT and talk to staff and maybe find an easier way to navigate this through. I mean, if there's a little confusion now, and I'm not able to look at my computer right now, but maybe that's you're giving us a sign to maybe take a look at it, so to make it a little bit easier. And I understand that you're not the first, so
Yeah, these are all, and the only reason is being that these are all fantastic things that I saw, and I just want to share them with as many possible people as I can. But I did, as we were going through it, I was looking for this stuff, and I did have some difficulty locating it. And then lastly, and you kind of touched this already, the Halloween event. I know that it's just starting. I think that's great. I think we brought it up at the last emergency meeting or the special meeting that we had. And I really appreciate the effort that went into this. I know that a lot of families are talking about it. I think it's one of those things that not just for tradition, but for morale. These would be great activities for families to participate in, have some sort of normality and some sort of event, some sort of fun-based thing to participate in during a year that's been anything but normal. So a couple of questions about that. Is it possible for businesses, citizens, community members, whatever, to provide treats, candies, donations? How do members of the community get involved to help make this event as fantastic as it can possibly be?
I think right now, as we were just getting ready to put this out there, I think the options of reaching out to some other groups that want to do that, I think that would be fine. We currently have about 8 or 9 station or themed stations. We're always welcome for more. We can go through the committee and talk to the people that are involved, police, fire, public works, and kind of go from there. The biggest thing is that we want to make sure we know how many people are going to be there because we're passing out candy. How many vehicles, estimate 4 to 6 people in each vehicle. And that's why we do time slots. But if anybody is interested in participating in this and donating, or help purchase candy or whatnot, we're willing to probably give them a booth out there to help out.
Okay, that's fantastic. I think you can sign me up for one of those things. I'd be happy to either donate or participate or,
awesome.
Or just something. So just reach out and let me know. And then of course, if you want more people involved, I'm happy to help share and recruit. So, and then finally, is there any word, I know this is a little bit outside of the scope, but is there any word, a lot of people are asking, and there's a lot of talk about it, regarding county guidelines for traditional Halloween events, such as, trick-or-treating or anything like that. Is there any knowledge that anyone might have on that? I know it's a hot topic right now.
Yeah, there actually has been something sent out by our fire department, Brian Johnson, and there is some guidelines on home trick-or-treating, I guess we would call it, for people walking around the neighborhoods. I can share that. I don't have it with me, but I can share that and get that information to you guys. But it's really, they're providing suggestions such as outdoor trick-or-treating, meaning that people that are passing out candy, you need to have it in a bag. You should probably put it on pickers or a tennis racket, put a table in between you and the kids that are walking in. It should be only family members walking together, not neighborhood kids walking together. So there are some suggestions on there, and we can share that with you, with the group.
Yeah, that would be helpful just for us to help get the word out, to make it as safe as possible, because I think people are excited to do that type of stuff. So fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Again, fantastic job all around.
Any other commissioners? Seeing none. Thank you so much, Connie, again, for your presentation. And we're going to continue.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you. And we're going to continue on with the agenda. Now to the consent agenda. Consideration of the approval of the minutes for the September 1st, 2020 special meeting. Who would like to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Hargrove moves. Commissioner Ahmad seconds. Commission clerk, please call the roll.
Thank you. To be clear, that was Commissioner Reed that seconded, correct? Was it Commissioner Ahmad or Reed? I think I missed that.
Ahmad.
Sorry.
Ahmad.
Thank you. Vice Chair Reed?
Aye.
Commissioner Commissioner Hargrove.
Aye.
Commissioner Jans
Aye.
and Commissioner Price and Chair Sandoval.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, the motion passes. And we go to our regular agenda, update on the Proposition 68 Community Economic Enhancement Program and proposed grant applications by Aaron Rivas.
Good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, and Commissioners. I'm here to provide you with an update on the Prop 68 Community and Economic Enhancement Grant Program. Let me do my share screen. Holy cow. Here we go. It's going to open it up. There we go. Okay. Slideshow. Are you guys getting it? No. Oh, begin. There we go. Sorry. Okay, here we go. My next screen. Okay. So just so you know, the Prop 68 Community and Economic Enhancement Grant Program is administered by the Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta Conservancy. It's funded from Prop 68. The total funding available is about $10 million. They had, I think the total at the very beginning was 12, but after, I guess, taxes and fees, we're down to about $10 million for program funding. It's a non-competitive grant program, which is really weird. We asked them kind of what that meant. And basically, it's just that the projects aren't evaluated against each other. It's based on the individual project's merit and their and how it benefits the Delta. There is no minimum or maximum on the grant applications, but we figured out through conversations with the Delta Conservancy that about $400,000 to $500,000 is about the right number. There's funding for implementation and for planning projects. For the implementation, we have to have at least 65% design. The program priorities are recreation and tourism. It's both passive and active recreation, historic and cultural preservation and education, and environmental education. They want to improve stewardship of the Delta, of all the native habitat. There's also an emphasis on increasing public access and improving the opportunities to promote the Delta economy. There we go, down. Okay, so the eligible project examples are public boat docks, pedestrian and bike trails, community parks, public boating infrastructure, visitor centers, levee improvements. They really like projects that are, let's say, repurposing things like the levee system. So projects like one of the ones we're proposing actually uses the pre-existing levee infrastructure for trails. So that's a big ticket item. And then also the renovation of historic buildings. So in their evaluation criteria, they look at project design, the project's purpose or goals, and whether the deliverables and the construction timeline is clear. Public benefit, they want to make sure that we're providing multiple tangible benefits that are going to benefit the community for the long haul. And they want to make sure that our performance measurements are accurate, and that they want to know whether or not we're serving severely or disadvantaged or severely disadvantaged people in our members of our community. They also want to see how it aligns with other state and state priorities, such as local plans. Also based on community institutional support, they want to see that our community is supportive of these projects. Cost share is not required, but they are, but it's also welcomed and it's part of the selection process. They want to look at the project budget to see if it's reasonable. The project team, they want to see that we've established a project team that can actually make the project happen. And they want to see that we're able to manage the project long-term. It's at least a 15-year requirement for maintaining the work product. We also wanted to see how these projects that we are proposing aligned with our Parks, Recreation, Open Space Master Plan. We see on here that the walking and biking trails are a high priority. Nature parks, the open space and conservation area, also a high priority. We also look at the projects when we were in the selection process to see how the projects affected, health, safety, legal issues, and how they protect the city's current investments in facilities. We have some of these projects that we're proposing incorporate, pretty big investments on the city side. We also want to see that we are developing projects that could, result in a benefit to the community. And a lot of these projects are close to a future development. So they will definitely be an economic boost to our community. We also look at some of the opportunity-driven projects that leverage other resources and offer partnerships with other groups, such as developers and other entities in the community. We also want to look at financial capacity because we have to look at both funding the project and then the long-term O&M for the project. Projects that we were proposing were the Clarksburg Branch Line Trail, the Extension and Enhancement Project, the Southport Levee Recreational Trail Planning and Design Project, and also the Bees Lakes Habitat Restoration Plan public access improvements. So for the Clarksburg Branch Line Trail, we looked at proposing a planning project, paving the 2.2 miles south towards the city limits. We looked at lighting, seating, landscaping, fitness equipment, trash receptacles, and the funding request is going to be about $250,000. For the Southport Levee Recreational Trail Planning Project, it's also a planning project, but we're looking to design and permit 5.6 miles of Class 1 bike trail along the crown of the levee. It's going to tie into the existing network and connect with the new trailhead on Linden Road, the Southport Levee Trailhead, which is currently underway. It's going to connect to the Sacramento River and just acres and acres of natural habitat and open space. The request is also going to be about $250,000. But so this project, it's using the flood project, the setback levee infrastructure, which is a huge investment. Activating that space is going to be amazing. It's going to actually function as a safety mechanism by activating the levee with positive activity, with foot traffic, with bikes, and will function sort of as an additional safety mechanism as well. So the Bees Lakes Habitat Restoration Plan public access improvements, this is a construction project. We have 65% design plans now. It's going to include brush clearing and trash removal, some water quality improvements. We're going to be constructing a first phase of recreation and public access improvements. I think some viewing benches, probably I would say some educational signage, improved public safety. It's going to become a regional destination. It's a very unique space. The request is a little bit bigger. It's about $600,000. There may be some other additional options that we propose. It just depends on some further conversations with the Delta Conservancy, but it's a pretty epic space. We looked at the different projects and see kind of how they scored according to both the Park Master Plan priorities and then the program priorities for the Community and Economic Enhancement Grant Program. Some of these you can see, like the Clarksburg Branch Line Trail, benefit-driven project, opportunity-driven project. We have the financial capacity, but some of these other projects you'll see, like the environmental education piece, not quite as strong for that project. I've got to move this little guy around so I can see my PowerPoint better. If you look at the way we've scored these, it seems like the Southport Levee project and the Bees Lakes projects both just score a little higher. They feel a little bit more competitive. So we were proposing that we go ahead and move forward with those two. Not to say that Clarksburg Branch Line Trail is off the table. If funding's still available, if these other two are awarded, then we'll go ahead and put our hat in the ring for Clarksburg Branch Line Trail. But our proposal was basically to move forward with the Southport Levee Trail and Bees Lakes. the next steps is we're after taking it to this commission was to go ahead with take it to council in October. It's probably going to get bumped until November, but we're going to go ahead and submit draft proposals to the Delta Conservancy early to mid-November, and then it's to go to the Delta Conservancy Board for review and possible award in January of 2020. And that concludes my presentation. Do you have any questions?
Thank you so much, Erin, for that presentation. Commissioners, any questions for Erin? Suzanne?
Erin, I think it sounds like you've done some very sound decision-making and analysis of the likelihood of funding for these programs. And again, I wanted to add to the other commissioners' comments on how impressed I always am with your seeking outside funds for our programs. It's just, I've worked with a lot of cities, and what this city does is above and beyond in terms of seeking outside resources to augment our amenities. One of the environmental education, I just wanted to make a point that I was recently involved in an activity of promoting that Yolo County adopt a declaration of climate emergency and a mobilization that they did adopt last week, I think. And it's in the beginning stages, but at some point, I think they're going to reach out to the cities within the county to join in helping to advance activities that address climate change and also a just transition to a more equitable economic recovery. And one of the things that I'm really interested in, especially at Bees Lake, which we've been briefed on and I know a little bit more about, is the history of the indigenous people and Native American lands that West Sacramento encompasses. So I think the opportunities for the environmental education aspects are important, and that they are especially relevant in these times. And so I would really encourage you to highlight that when you're making your application about the opportunities for a more complete understanding of where our lands came from, and including the biological and environmental diversity of the lands, but also their prior ownership by the Native American and indigenous peoples of our area. And that's it. Thank you.
Well, and just to add to that, in conversations, both the Clarksburg Branch Line Trail and the Southport Levee Trail are very important projects. But in sort of internal conversations, the implementation though of those projects, the Southport Levee Trail is kind of a slam dunk because it's just paving the crown of the levee. So that's actually doable. I mean, I think that we could actually go through with that. So the planning effort's not going to be in vain. But the Clarksburg Branch Line Trail just has a lot of moving pieces, a lot of stakeholders, and it's going to be significantly more expensive. So we felt that at least, out the gate, that the Southport Levee Trail application was a little bit more competitive, but also that it was doable. So we want to make sure that we're using our time effectively.
All right, Commissioner Price.
Erin, you just said exactly what I was going to say. That as much as I would love to prioritize the Clarksburg Branch Line Trail as a project, I don't think it fits the criteria that this grant is all about. So it's like knowing that you guys are the experts on winning these things. It's like saying, as much as I'd love to say, let's go for that Clarksburg Branch Line project, but the other ones are attainable and doable and winnable based on the criteria that grant program is laying out. So it's like we have to go after those. And I totally agree with your assessment that those are the two we should go after.
Yeah, well, and it's hard because the Clarksburg Branch Line Trail is actually part of the Great California Delta Trail. My hope is down the line, because when they did their master planning effort for the Delta Trail, the setback levy didn't exist. So my hope is down the line is getting that paved, is actually doing a joint resolution, possibly with the Delta Conservancy, to actually have that part dedicated as well, because it will be part of that network.
Yeah, if you can connect on the end, then you can have the Southport setback levy be the part of the Great Delta Trail or like kind of the branch line trail could be like the business loop of it, you know, where you go into town and stop at the stop to grab coffee or something. So no, they're both great projects, and it's like I wish we could do all of them, but for the purpose of this exercise, it's which ones should we go after for the grant, and it's clear which ones we should.
Thank you.
Commissioner John.
Thank you, Aaron. It's a great presentation as always. I just had a couple of questions about the information I saw. I just wanted to be clear, the Bees Lake project cost was $600,000, right? And $250 for the Southport levy. Is that the amount that you're requesting from the grant, or the amount for the project? I don't remember. I know we've talked about Bees Lake a few times.
Bees Lakes is the full amount we're asking from the grant.
But the project's going to cost more than that, right?
Yeah, if we were to build out, we have a couple of options or phases that we're looking into. And Tracy, correct me if I'm wrong. That is basically it's getting us to 100% design plan, finishing permitting, it's getting us our first phase of recreational amenities.
That's correct. The Bees Lakes Habitat Restoration Plan implementation that you were presented with a few months ago had, I think it was like almost a $5 or $4 million price tag. It was pretty expensive to do all of the improvements, and that would eat up, almost half of the total funding available for the program. So this is getting us to 100% design, which means and permitting, which means we're shovel ready. Should other grant funding become available, and also implement some initial components for public access and recreation. We would love to ask for more money. If there's interest from the Conservancy in funding more, then we can add more components to it. But we already are applying for 2 applications. Actually, we had 3 initially, and they kind of said, hey, we're trying to make funding available for all the jurisdictions in the Delta. And 3's a little bit much. So we thought, well, we could scale back the Bees Lakes to at least get, some level of improvement underway. And then once you have the plans done for the other projects, then they're shovel ready should construction funding become available.
The other number 2 on the Bees Lake project, there was going to be a couple years of the vegetation mediation. So getting that started, getting it shovel ready and starting with the removal of the non-native vegetation, that would take a couple of years anyway. So it's like, in the meantime, we could be going after more money to get the recreational amenities done. We can get the access done. We get the road done, the trails. So it's like, no brainer. Let's just get once we get it done and started, then everything else can just kind of fall after that.
And just to confirm, the performance period, it's within 3 years of award. So that does kind of put some restrictions on us. Additionally, some of the more elaborate improvements would take longer. So going for this first phase seemed reasonable.
And the Bees Lake one hits from your info, your graphic there. I believe, if I remember right, it hit every single one of the criteria. It was the only one that did, right?
I mean, they didn't all get all of them, but it got the most out of all 3.
Okay. And the Southport levy was second, I guess, with that logic, right?
Yeah.
It had the second most.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I agree with the assessment to shift, and especially off of what Tracy was saying regarding the amount that we were asking for originally. It seems like everything's kind of aligning to back off 1 and go for 2. I mean, I would even consider, if Bees Lake hit the most and we feel that this is the strongest of our applications, is maybe requesting even more and postponing the Southport levy project too.
Well, the nice thing about this is one's planning and one's implementation. So we feel like they're really different. So it's not, I mean, this isn't competitive, but we feel like having the different kinds of projects is a good thing.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm 100% behind it. I think that's a smart way to apply, and you've all been very successful for the most part on your grant application. So yeah, I think it's a great idea. I'm really excited about the Bees Lake project personally. I think it's another great feature to add to West Sacramento. Another like destination feature, kind of like the ropes course is kind of a destination where you can come to West Sac and experience this amenity. I feel as though Bees Lake can become something of that sort. So that's the only reason I maybe had considered just trying to get as much as we can for that project, because I really want to see that come to fruition. But it sounds like they're a little bit different, South Fort and Bees Lake. So yeah, I'm all in. I think it's great.
And they're by each other too, so we benefit. No matter which one we get, we're scoring pretty big.
Yeah, sounds great. Nice job.
Any other commissioners have any questions for Aaron? Seeing none, we're going to continue with our agenda. Aaron, thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to continue to the director's report.
Thank you. Just a brief update. First, I wanted to thank you all for being available for our special meeting on September 30th with Dr. Larissa May, the mayor, and Mayor Pro Tem Sandine, which is our COVID subcommittee. I appreciated all of your feedback, as did the mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and our staff. We had a lot of staff participating in that meeting as well. And since that meeting, you may or may not have heard that our playgrounds have reopened in the city. And we are also working to reopen our park restrooms, some of which have already opened. Initially, we opened the restrooms at Bright, Alice Norman, and Bridgeway Lakes, which are all community parks. And we'll begin reopening additional restrooms as we work to refine our cleaning and restocking schedules. So that's very exciting. We know a lot of people were waiting for playgrounds to be open. We have signage placed at all of the park sites that remind our patrons just to be safe, of the safety protocols that they need to follow. And we're also encouraging people to bring their own hand sanitizer to the parks, just as an extra precaution in case, for whatever reason, the restrooms might not have soap available. And we're excited we've gotten a lot of feedback from the community that's excited about having those amenities accessible now. And during that meeting, a lot of questions did come up about Halloween. I know Connie shared the event that we're working on. I did post in our chat the link to the county's website where they have a couple of different documents there that you can use as a reference for practicing safe Halloween activities. I wanted to share with you that the Prop 68 statewide park development program grant applications are due in December. We will likely need to submit those applications before you have another meeting, but we did get some feedback from you at the last regular meeting that you were supportive of us resubmitting all of our applications that we submitted back in 2019. And so we are taking that item to council. It requires updated resolutions. So that is going to be moving forward next week. However, I did want to share that of the 3 applications that we originally submitted, which included applications for the Bridge District Public Plaza, Westacre Park expansion and renovations, and then also the Fallbrook campus, the playfield improvements to create a neighborhood park. Of those 3, we are recommending that we only resubmit 2 of the 3 applications, Westacre Park and the Fallbrook campus. And this is because we got additional feedback from state parks that just indicated the Bridge District Public Plaza, as cool of a project as it is, and it is a cool project, it just wasn't as competitive as the other 2, and it lacked a lot of the traditional recreation amenities that this grant program is really geared for. And so I wanted to share that with you. Happy to answer any questions about that item. We can come back to that in a moment. I wanted to also share that the Heritage Oaks Ropes course is open. The play area has been complete. We can't open it just yet. The parking lot is almost complete. There's still some construction work happening around the play area that we have to secure before that play area can be open, but it will be coming soon, and hopefully the entire project will be complete by the end of the year. Much of the fencing around the ropes course is planning to come down in the coming weeks so that anybody from the community will have complete access to walk through the trees, under the ropes course, even while ropes course activities are taking place. And then I'd like to turn over to Paul Reyes just to share with you some information about Rec Center updates.
Thank you, Tracy. Yes, Paul Reyes, Recreation Manager. Just give you a quick update, some quick updates. As you're aware, since we've been closed, we've been doing a lot of virtual classes and fun activities on there, trying to get participation with the community. The Rec Center has been open for lap swim since mid-August, and recently in the past 2 weeks, we were able to implement some group exercise classes outside. Yes, we've had a tent out there, we moved under the awning, and then obviously with the inclement weather and the air quality, it's kind of put us in a tough position. However, we have moved to the red tier, which is 10% maximum occupancy per room. This has given us the flexibility to move cardio classes or group exercise classes in the gymnasium. So it's been very, very good. When the weather's nice, we still want to be outside, but when there is inclement weather, we can have the flexibility to come inside the gym. With that tier, moving to the red tier, the 10%, we decided to offer some basketball clinic classes, fitness clinics. And it's funny because we were only going to take 10 people for the fitness clinic, but in actuality, we filled up in 20 minutes. We have 80 on a waiting list, and this is going to be a Tuesday, Thursday deal from 4:30 to 5:30. So we decided to open up a 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock class with a 30-minute transition there for the second class, and that filled up in 20 minutes. So that's only 10 people in each class with 2 supervisors running the program. So we're very excited about that. Outdoor, and then if there's inclement weather, we can also do it indoors. And this is for the month of August. Because there's 80 people, the Rec Center team has put together a possible maybe November, December in discussions to do some kind of like an after school PE where it incorporates fitness, maybe some basketball, maybe some soccer, maybe some volleyball type things, still small groups, distance, wearing masks, things like that. So the team is just being creative, and there's just a lot of need for youth activities. In addition to that, we also offered, with lap swim being popular, and again, a lot of discussion for youth kids. On Saturday between 11 and 12, we now have a parent and child lap swim program. So the child between 7 and 12 can swim laps with the parent. Same type of registration time slots. Tennis lessons are starting on Friday. Tomorrow, no, it's Tuesday, this Friday. And really it's the tennis lessons that have, that we owed people to. So it's a start, we are moving forward. And hopefully, we get to the next tier, but little by little, we're moving forward. And then lastly, we've talked a little bit about the Halloween Safe Trick or Treat Street. We're very excited for that. A lot of different departments, Public Works, Fire, PD, and a couple Rec Center. And then we'll reach out to you, Commissioner Jans, for some volunteer work. But we're very excited for that on October 31st. And we will also take a look at the registration system to make it a little more friendly, I guess, to navigate through for registration. So we're just very excited with the Rec Center, taking steps, making strides of moving forward, and hopefully, moving to the next tier. Hopefully, the next couple of months, we'll see how it goes. But little by little, we're making strides and serving our community. Thank you. Any questions?
Anything else?
Nope.
Any questions, Commissioners? Commissioner Reed.
Thank you. This is a little bit off track, but I did see the announcement on the ropes course parking lot. It raised another question with me because we're going to have to do parking and some of these other amenity areas as well, like Beats Lake, et cetera. What's our design standard relative to permeability or limiting runoff from hardscaping?
We recently updated our design guidelines to promote sustainable methods in all construction projects. I don't know off the top of my head what the minimum requirements are, but I know for all of the projects where we're applying for grant funding, we actually incorporate sustainable construction and maintenance practices into the projects, because that is a part of the evaluation process for all of the grant programs now. So we did explore for the Clutterwald and the Heritage Oaks Park site permeable surface for the parking lot. And our goal was to use that. Well, Clutterwald, as part of our agreement with them, they're responsible for constructing and paying for the parking lot. It just became a very expensive project. And so they reluctantly switched to an asphalt parking lot, which is typical in most of our existing park sites. But as we move forward, we will continue to explore more sustainable design practices as the budget can. It's always hard to balance that with our budget, but it's certainly a priority for us, and it's eligible with the grant programs, which is really encouraging.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, Commissioner Johns.
Thanks. I'll be real brief. I just wanted to ask Paul, well, first of all, it's fantastic to hear all that stuff is kind of slowly reopening. So fantastic job with that. And I was curious if any of those events or anything we're planning on being maybe promoted through the park's social media or advertised as kind of like a, look what's happening type of angle.
A lot of it, because we owe a lot, we've closed and we had lessons that we needed to fulfill and close out those lessons. A lot of those, we're just calling those particular people to finish up through October. But in terms of, the Halloween Safer Trick, it should be out anytime. The basketball clinic, fitness clinic went out, and in 20 minutes it was full, and so it went out to social media, our Facebook, our social media platforms, tweeted, I think it's tweet, Instagram, all that stuff went out. But the need for these things, for these youth programs, I mean, it was amazing how fast it filled up, and we knew that. It's just we needed to move forward, get authorization, understand the CDC guidelines and the restrictions, and move forward with this. So yes, we do advertise it, but it fills up quickly.
Well, I meant during the event. So to show people, so this is what I'm getting at, and this I'll kind of leave to your judgment, obviously, but I love to see things happening in the community that are remind us of things coming back and returning to normal. However, I think sometimes when people see that, they think, oh, it doesn't exist anymore, and they tend to make poor choices, and then we end up reverting back. I think that's kind of something that happened last time. So I guess I'm just kind of proposing, take it for what it's worth. Obviously, use your judgment, completely trust it, but I would love to see those types of activities, being shared as they're happening, if that's something that you're interested in. And maybe just like a little gentle reminder saying, hey, folks, this is kind of happening because, you're being really great and following the rules. Don't forget, this will all kind of go away if you start, having, 50-person parties in your backyard again and doing all those things. I think it's potentially an opportunity if that's something that you are considering. Like, again, leaving it totally up to you. You're doing a fantastic job, but personally, I love to see that type of stuff happening, anything that shows me the normality, but I do know that there's kind of another edge to that sword. And, but maybe, a little reminder would be helpful that hey, you're doing a great job. We're able to do these things now, so keep it up kind of message. I think that'd be fantastic.
I think we can discuss that with the team and come up with things like that. Talk to Tracy about it, management, and make sure we're doing, saying the right things and doing the right things with it. So, yes.
Yeah, just an idea. Again, just kind of an idea for consideration.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Director Michael? Seeing none, thank you so much for your report. We're going to go on with the General Administration Function Part 2. 5B, future item requests. Does any commissioners have any future item requests? Commissioner Reed?
Thank you. The Yolo County Aging and Adult Services Commission has invited our city to, as it does with all the cities in Yolo County, to send one of our members of this commission as a liaison and a voting member of their commission. And that request is pending currently. In the meantime, they've also offered, they've been working on emergency preparation and evacuation planning and updating their plan, and have made themselves available to do a briefing for our commission at such time as our agenda allows. So just a note on that, and I know that Tracy is aware of it and on top of it, and I look forward to seeing that presentation. Thank you.
Any others? Okay, seeing none, would anybody like to entertain a motion to adjourn? I see.
I just wanted to say one quick thing. And if I'm out of line, stop me. But I just wanted to remind everybody that I got this reminder in my utility bill. And it's basically that applications, if you wanted to reapply for the Parks Commission, it opens October 19th and ends November 20th. So just a reminder that I would love to continue with all of you. So I'd love to see you all apply. I just didn't want anybody to forget about that.
Thank you very much for that important reminder. So who would like to, go ahead, Director Michael.
I apologize, Chair Sandoval. I just thought of one other item I wanted to make you aware of. This Saturday is going to be a very busy day in our Civic Center. We're actually offering, in conjunction with the county, a flu vaccination clinic, a drive-through at City Hall. So you can show up and drive through and get your flu shots. At the same time, across the street, the food bank will, just for this week only, be moving across the street into the city's overflow parking lot near the community center in Los Rios campus for their food distribution. And the library is also having a book drop-off pickup event. So a lot's happening there. You might want to check it out. That's it.
That's very important. And I'll be taking my mother to the drive-through flu shop for sure. And my son, my oldest son. Any other commissioners? Anything else? Well, with that, who would like to entertain a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Commissioner, Vice Chair Reed would like to a motion to adjourn. And the second, who was that? Commissioner Johns. And with that, Commission Clerk, will you please call the roll? You're muted. There you go.
Thank you. Commissioner Ahmad.
Aye.
Commissioner Hargrove. I don't see him here. Okay. Commissioner Jans. Can I get a verbal? Sorry, I didn't hear.
Aye, yes.
Thank you. And Commissioner Price. I think you might be muted. Did I get a verbal from you, Commissioner Price?
Aye.
Thank you. And Chair Sandoval.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that, we adjourn. Thank you very much for tonight's commission meeting. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.